All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to Weddings Uncensored, where we drink and talk and talk and drink. I'm Kyle.
I'm Allie, and we are here breaking down the good, the bad, and the downright crazy of this whole wedding industry. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's high noon, and it tastes wonderful on a Tuesday morning.
Did I have I think we had high noon the last
I think so
episode too.
Just a good one. I feel
But
like it's
we're all
good.
done. We're all done with this after today.
We got to move on to the next.
Yeah, we gotta get a new one.
I think I'll make us like a fun cocktail next week.
Please.
I know. I really have been slacking on that.
That can be a reel. I'm sure people would appreciate that if you made a drink.
The people. I think the people would appreciate it.
We had 250 downloads from last week's episode by itself in one day.
Okay. Is that good?
I feel like it's good. That means 250 people should be listening at least on the first day.
Okay, that's good. I'll take it.
But yeah, what are we talking about?
Okay, we'll make a cocktail next week.
Yes.
Let's just only talk about what we're going to drink the next few weeks.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, we still got to do that. We're going to do a surprise episode too where we're going to get highly intoxicated.
It's a surprise. We're drunk.
Surprise.
And the episode will be called Surprise, We're Drunk.
Surprise, we're drunk. What are we going to talk about? Who the fuck knows?
That's like story of my life. Surprise, I'm drunk. One of my coordinators / best friend, Danny, who gets several shout outs on this episode.
Danny!
We went out for one margarita last Sunday
and then it turned into
the tab was $500.
Wow.
So we might have had more than one margarita.
I mean, unless it was just painted with gold.
Nope. It was a lot of margaritas.
All right. Sounds good.
$500. Anyways, today we're talking about
Part 2
of wedding regrets. Yeah, it was really fun kind of digging into this little BuzzFeed article before. So we're kind of going to keep on rolling through it. And I feel like it brings up so many naturally, like frequently asked questions about weddings and things that we hear often. So
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, back to BuzzFeed's wedding regrets.
BuzzFeed, thank you.
This is definitely a huge one. Inviting certain people just so we didn't offend them, only to have them show us exactly why we didn't want to invite them. The guest list.
Yeah, that can be kind of hard because there's going to be potentially like family obligations too. I think of like for our wedding, there were definitely people that we invited, but only because since mom was paying for a lot of it, it's like you can't really say no.
Right? Yeah. And we talked about that like in our budget episode of like, I mean, everything comes with strings. Yeah. So if parents or whoever is paying for part or all of the wedding, like they get to have a little bit of say in that. And maybe that's inviting their old college buddies or, you know, your dermatologist or whatever.
The people that say, I used to know you when you were a baby.
Yep.
Haha, cool. Thanks for coming.
Yep. But I think it's interesting how they said like, only to have them show us exactly why we didn't want to invite them.
Yes.
Because ain't that the truth where you're like, Uncle fucking Carl, we don't want to invite him because he's a drunk. And then guess what? He's a fucking drunk asshole on the day and stuff like that, which goes back to people will not change because it's your wedding day. Mm-hmm. Like you can't expect someone to be on their best behavior when they're always on their worst behavior.
Yes. I think too, this can go even further than, I mean, we can keep touching on just them being wedding guests. But I think even bridesmaids and groomsmen, you feel this weird inclination like, oh, this has been a good friend for a really long time and we're getting married. I feel like I have to have them as a bridesmaid or a groomsman.
Yeah. A lot of obligation.
A lot of obligations.
So what's the fix, Kyle?
That's a great question.
So what are we advising people to do?
Just say, fuck it.
Elope. Weddings Uncensored, where we always just encourage you to elope. Yep. No, I think that there's a certain amount that you just have to know, right? Like, what's the hill you're going to die on? Like, know that there's going to be compromise. There's going to be obligations. So figure out what that line in the sand that you need to draw is.
Yeah.
And kind of, talk about that kind of stuff very openly with your family or friends that feel like they're pressuring you.
Yeah.
And also know that like you don't have to follow the tradition. Like if it's stressing you out to think about who you would pick for your wedding party, just don't have a wedding party.
I was like, maybe it's just best to not have one.
And that's okay.
Or I think a good one could have been, at least for us, could have been if family only would be in the bridal party. Period.
Yeah.
Sure, you have a million best friends, and maybe you're actually closer to a lot of your friends than you are family.
Yeah.
But if you have a set rule of, all right, we only get family. Yeah. Because as soon as you invite one friend,
and then it's really
a lot of other friends kind of just bleed in at that point.
Yeah. And also keep in mind, if you aren't having a wedding party, that doesn't mean that you don't get to like have people around you doing hair and makeup or go on a bachelor party or whatever. Like you can still do all of those things. Your friends and family will actually probably be very grateful to get to enjoy those times with you, but not have to wear a fucking expensive dress or, you know, stay in photos for 3.5 hours or whatever. So I think it's okay to not have both.
Yeah.
But yeah, the family, I mean, it's just knowing, it's setting boundaries. It's, you know, managing your expectations. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's no way around it.
I'm definitely jealous of the people that have like the friends and family where there aren't any issues and like, oh no, it's just, you know, the 7 of us and there's no issues.
But does that really exist?
I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah.
Now,
granted, more often than not.
I shot over 200 weddings and it's only happened a couple times.
Exactly.
So like the likelihood of that happening is pretty small.
Yeah.
But so I guess it would be kind of like the whole, I think when we're talking about the drinks too, of like know your guests and know your people, of just know what each person will bring to the table or bring to the wedding and what kind of energy they bring.
Yeah.
And if you want that to be a part of the day, invite them. If you don't really want it to be a part of the day, maybe at least for a bridal party, don't invite them.
Yeah.
If it's for guests, then it's up to you of like, what can you handle?
Yeah. And what kind of line can you make? Yeah. When I got married, my ex-husband, we had been together for like 7 years before we got married. We met super young. Okay. And our rule was we have to have like met you, both of you together, right? Like it felt crazy, the fact that there was going to be some distant aunt that if I haven't met you in the last 7 years, like, bitch, you're not coming to this party. You're not part of this life. Yeah. So that doesn't work for every person. But like, if you have been around a while, maybe you can kind of make that your rule. But find something that you guys can feel comfortable with making a rule to your family.
I made a rule for my family, which caused some issues, but I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Is if you couldn't spell my name, then I wasn't going to invite you. And I remember
did you do like a pop quiz for people?
There were many a family. No, that I just remember.
That spelled it.
You know, Christmas time, I was a kid or whatever, and I remember like everyone's always spelling my name wrong. Yeah. It's like, come on.
That's really funny, actually.
If you can't spell my name, you don't even know my fiance's name.
Yeah.
Like, or where we met.
Yeah.
Or what ethnicity she is. Like, if you don't know that, like, why am I going to invite you to this wedding day? Please. Yeah. I hope you don't take it personally, but if you do, that's on you.
Yeah,
that's not on me. You know, that's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, though. Like, independence, I guess, or not being swayed too much by what other people think and feel.
But it's a tricky part.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
Yeah, it is a really hard one.
Talk to your significant other.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, next regret is wearing white. I hate how I look in white, so I was uncomfortable. I felt like a giant marshmallow all evening. I wish I had just worn purple.
I'm assuming this is the bride.
As well.
Okay, cool.
Usually the only person that's required to wear white on the day.
Yeah.
I will say after 12 years of doing this and hundreds of weddings, I think I've only had like 3 brides not wear white. And I do a lot of non-traditional weddings too. Yeah. So it is interesting how that is one of the traditions that has like stuck the fuck around, you know?
I still think it's interesting though that this even came up because the likelihood of how many people actually regret wearing white, I don't know if that's like
a very high on the regret scale.
But I would say wear what you want to wear.
Yeah.
It's your wedding day. Period.
Totally. And the brides that I have seen choose colors like was pretty fucking cool. Yep. Like pretty dope. But yeah, I don't know how high that is on the scale either. Yeah. If that's something that you feel like you need to buck tradition about, then absolutely do it. I think if you're that person that feels like they'd be more comfortable in purple, then certainly
then go wear purple. I hope you have purple flowers and a purple bouquet and purple corsages, purple hair, purple tattoos, purple shoes. Purple suits, purple tables, purple linens.
All of the above.
Purple rings.
I hope so too. I hope that for you. My wedding wish to you. I mean, certainly anything with tradition for tradition's sake, we don't believe in here at Weddings Uncensored. So just fuck it and do what you feel comfortable in.
And then finding that little compromise too of if you know that you really wish you wore said colored dress, then save it for the reception.
Yeah.
You know?
Do a costume change.
Yeah.
If it's really important to mom that you wear a white dress and then change into a party dress. Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good. As soon as the ceremony's over, we've taken our family pictures. Yep. I'm getting a different dress on because I'm not comfortable, you know?
Okay. I'm going to skip a couple of these because they're not that great.
Sounds good. Pass.
I wear glasses 365 days a year, but I decided to wear contacts the day of our ceremony, and they were itchy and gave me a migraine.
Oh my gosh.
I should have just worn my glasses. My partner likes them more with me, likes me more with them anyway.
Okay, story time.
Okay.
Stephanie's walking down the aisle, and I'm crying.
Your wife.
Yes. Yeah. And she's walking down the aisle, and I start crying. I'm wearing contacts.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happens? I start wiping my tears.
Yeah.
But the waterworks just won't stop.
Yeah.
So I wiped too hard on one eye, and the contact goes behind my eyeball.
Oh, God.
So for the rest of the
whole ceremony,
Stephanie is clear in one eye, and everything is fucking blurry in the other eye. So immediately
was it like irritating you the whole time
no,
too?
No.
That's good.
I could still focus.
Okay, because I imagine you the whole time being all like twitchy and like.
I knew what had happened. Luckily, it wasn't bothering me. So I'm assuming it just dissolved in the back of my eye at some point in time in my life. But as soon as the ceremony was done, I put the glasses back on.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
If you're a crier, I would highly recommend either getting LASIK. Way before the wedding, or just wear the glasses.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes back to like being the most comfortable and being yourself, right? Like you don't need to look like someone else or be someone else on your wedding day. Yeah. Like your partner probably likes you exactly the way that you are. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I can imagine like aesthetically looking for a certain look, maybe in some photos or whatever. But yeah, if it's going to cause you a lot of grief and give you a migraine and then send your contact back into your brain.
Yeah.
Then do that.
Yeah.
I wish I'd anticipated that people would just not show up or cancel at the last minute. At hundreds of dollars per plate, we lost so much money because people didn't show up. And I will say that this is something I don't necessarily think that I see so often that people just don't show up, although we can get into that. But this is a big concern with people. Like, are people just not going to show up? And I also hear a lot of people concerned, like, are people just going to show up? Like, that didn't RSVP?
Like weren't invited?
Yeah, I have a lot of couples and families that ask me that for weddings.
I don't know.
I definitely don't think the latter. Like we have had a surprise, like like the brother was like estranged and found out that the wedding was happening and then showed up and it was like a drama kind of situation. But more often, and I think that this has especially been a thing since COVID, is this last minute cancellation and feeling like it's okay. Like I RSVP'd, but like JK, I can't come anymore or whatever. Yeah. I think maybe it's become more okay since COVID to like cancel. You know how like it was fine to just be like,
I feel like if there's an actual like good reason as to why you can't come. Like if you have COVID, then fucking stay home.
Of course.
If it's just a last minute because I didn't want to, then you probably shouldn't have invited that person from the get-go. Yeah. To begin with.
I would say on an average wedding, there's at least a couple of no-shows. Mm-hmm. And if you are paying $200 a plate, that is not nothing.
It adds up.
This is a good story time.
Okay.
This was actually during COVID time, so it was a little bit more like reasonable that people were canceling last minute. I think it was like November 2020 or something. But they still were like going for it. Had the big wedding, did the whole shebang. And the bride's mom sent a Venmo request to all of the family members that didn't show and was like, fuck it, I don't even want to see y'all at Thanksgiving. Like, you guys, she was so mad. Isn't that petty?
Oh, that's super petty.
I know.
Oh, I mean, if you knew they just didn't show up because they were like either scared of COVID and just didn't want to go, then you shouldn't have RSVP'd. But if
you shouldn't have RSVP'd,
then I wouldn't send the Venmo request.
It's petty regardless, but it's also kind of savage in an awesome way that
exactly.
I was
like, that's kind of boss.
Yeah, it was kind of boss. Like when she really didn't give a fuck. Like she really did not care.
Sounds more like mafia of like, I don't care if you.
Yeah, she
you
was like, if I never
fucking show up.
Basically,
yeah, it's my daughter's wedding. Yeah.
Basically. But that was a pretty good one. And it is really rough if like a whole family doesn't show up or something, because usually then that's like a whole table that's empty. Like you've seen that where it's a little.
We had that happen where like one family of 5, they all got sick like a day or 2 days before our wedding, and then the whole table was just empty.
Yeah.
So, you know, then you just look at the table and you're just like, man, like other people could have been sitting there.
Yeah.
Or people that we thought to invite, but we had a certain amount.
Yeah.
They didn't make the cut list right, but people show up and then it's always that regret of like, oh, I wish other people could have been here.
Totally.
To enjoy it with
and
us.
that is a thing, like consider having a, you know, like a B list or like an emergency list. If you can fill those spots, that is nice, at least so you don't feel like you're wasting all that money.
Yeah.
And just know that it's going to happen. Like I have all these wonderful clients. It's like 4 weeks out from their wedding and they're like, here's our final guest list. Here's our final seating chart. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute that you think that
all
this is final. I love this journey for you, but like, there's
going to wait till like 1 week out.
Yeah, I was like, if you don't think I'm always getting texts the night before about changes to your seating chart, like it always happens. So I think just maybe know that going into it.
Yeah. Okay.
I did another wedding in Palm Springs and they had like the big, seating chart printed out, which that's like a thing, right? You've already printed this goddamn poster.
You can't erase those names.
And she handed me the poster and she was like, literally the only part that's accurate on the seating chart is the part that says find your seat at the top. Because that's how fucked up, like so many cancellations had happened and everything. I was like, okay, we'll figure it out. Yep. We'll make it work. So
have to take a roll in attendance as people are walking in.
Basically, we were like,
we actually moved you to table 6.
It's so not ideal, and catering will hate you. But whatever, we'll figure it out. Everyone will eat and sit somewhere, and But yeah, that was a good one.
I feel like I've only seen a couple instances where people show up randomly for like very, very large weddings.
Yeah.
Like either the African weddings. Let's see, there's like some Middle Eastern weddings where it's just like a ton of people are coming. At that point, it's like, all right, well, some people just stand the whole day too. So it's not even like
it's different. Yeah. Like Southeast Asian Indian weddings, if you're having 600 people there's probably a chance someone's
going to be standing for a while.
Yeah.
Or people are going to be taking turns.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. That's a rough one for sure. Okay. We found our photographer on Craigslist.
Bad. Already. Stop. Don't do it. Craigslist? No. $500 budget? Still. Go look for somebody. Look for a friend.
I don't even need to finish this quote because we already know what's going to happen. Yeah. I mean.
You can finish it anyway.
No, I mean, we were on a budget. Her portfolio looked good enough. Gave us a great deal, but she ruined our photos. Of course, we regret not splurging on one of the things that actually lasted past the wedding day. 100%. I don't even think we need to say anything about this.
I'm curious as to what that couple spent on flowers.
Kyle is so anti-flowers.
It's not weddings that I'm anti-flowers.
Weddings Uncensored used to be anti-cake cuttings, but now we're anti-florals.
Like, fuck the flowers. No, I love
anything that's not photo video.
I love the flowers, but the flowers, they just don't make the memories. Well, they don't.
And I think if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So keep that in mind with all of your vendors that you're like, I don't know, like Craigslist also red flag.
Just don't.
But yeah, if it seems like, why is this such a good deal? It probably because it's something shitty.
Oh, okay. Speaking of Craigslist, I'm seeing a lot more of the Facebook groups of brides looking for, I'm getting married in Italy. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking for a photographer and a videographer. That person is going to get spammed the hell out of Facebook messaging groups, comments from all these photographers
that want to go to Italy,
that just want to go,
but
don't have the experience of actually traveling somewhere.
Doing a destination
wedding of just like, I live in Tennessee. Or I live in California, but I've never done a destination wedding before. I would love to go. And they're still going to just pay for my travel kind of deal. Like there's a lot of risk in those situations. So even for like Stephanie and I, we decided like we will still do some destination work. But if it just becomes like it's a big production, I would probably just say hire a local vendor from that specific area, because there's less room for, I don't know, bad juju to happen. A flight's delayed, a flight's canceled.
Yeah.
And, something's wrong with the hotel. The photographer gets sick, and obviously they're not going to know anyone local in the area to fill in their spot. You know, like that just happened this past weekend where a photographer got COVID, and he called me to help cover.
Yeah, because we have resources that are local. Yeah.
Boom, done. Don't worry about it. So.
I agree. I feel the same way. I mean, I think a lot of vendor categories, but I've gotten asked to like coordinate or plan weddings destination, and I have done a few, but like it's not my specialty. And I will tell people that, like, I'll full on like turn down business because I'm like, my value as a wedding planner is that I have so many resources here in Southern California. I know a little bit about everything. Like I can find you a fucking guy. I can't do that in Canada. Like I don't have that, you know? So are there certain parts that I could do? Of course. And I could pull the whole thing off, but I would want to encourage a couple to find someone that's the best fit for the job, not just because I really want to go to Canada.
Yeah. And maybe
I do want to go to Canada.
I mean, Canada would be kind of cool. But maybe it's like finding, if you have the money and you have the luxury of hiring a planner, then I would say hire the planner in that destination, because they're going to know all the
exactly.
Anyway.
Like that's, if you're going to Hawaii, like probably hire someone that's there. Yeah, they're going to know. They're going to get you the better deals. They're going to have the last minute emergency fill-ins and stuff like that.
And they're going to know what vendors are, like maybe they have the 4.5 stars, but they actually are not fun to work with.
Yeah.
And you're going to hire the 4.2 star that everybody loves.
Yeah.
You know,
and there are certain vendors too that I know, like there are planners and photographers that just do destination, right? So they probably have, I don't know, like good plan, like backups. They probably have like more experience of just what that travel looks like and things like that. So
it's also be more expensive because they're probably going to get there 3 days before.
For sure. But if it's someone that you love, but that's like what they do, cool, you know? Exactly. But yeah, definitely someone just off of a Facebook page that really wants to go for cheap is not the best option.
Do good research, not just look at some galleries and say, oh, I could picture this here. Do actual research. Anyway, yes. I'm done. Thanks.
No, that's a good one.
Oh, okay.
I'm just moving it along. You know, someone here has to keep the fucking reins on this podcast.
Because it's not me.
We all know.
I know.
Listeners.
Yep.
I wish we hadn't DIY'd so much. Yeah, we saved money, but it kind of sucked having to run around before and during the day. So, I mean, obviously we know that on the day you should not be doing anything, but just in general, like what I tell people is you're going to pay either in money or time. So buy it, make it, fucking do all of the legwork to find the deal. That's hours that you spent on that. Like no matter what it is, you're gonna be paying in some way. So which way do you want to do it?
And sometimes if you're DIYing and it doesn't go the way you wanted it, you're actually you may spend just as much, maybe even more than if you just hired somebody who knows how to do it efficiently, do it well the first time.
Yep. Totally.
Whether that be like, I don't know, the signage, that might be, let's see, what else?
Yeah, everything, all your paper goods, florals. Well, florals is like a huge one, but I think, you know, super gluing your fingers together and like getting all your bridesmaids to come and like hand calligraphy shit, like nobody wants to do that. No. Good Lord. No. I will say if you are that person, if you are artistic and crafty and like you have a vision and that stuff brings you joy, then do it. But if you're doing it for the pure reason of like saving money, a buck, then no. There's so many options out there. Don't DIY your invitations if that makes you crazy. Just send a fucking Evite at the end of the day. That'll be even cheaper.
Go to Canva.
And nobody cares. Yeah, like there's nowadays there really is like so many free resources, all these great design things. Like
go to AI now.
So, you know? Don't write your own vows. AI will do it for you. Hire good people that know what they're doing. But or just the stuff that doesn't really matter to you, put it in the fuck it bucket. Like, just leave that alone.
Call it the fuck it bucket.
Yeah, that's actually from, I won't take credit. I use it all the time. I won't take credit, though. It's from an old wedding podcast called the Bridechilla podcast. I don't think they're around anymore. I'm not promoting other wedding podcasts.
Yeah, because Weddings Uncensored is
the best. I don't think they're even around anymore. But I loved that. She was like, if it's something that you're just like, I just don't care that much, You put it in the fuck it bucket and then you just don't ever look at it again.
I like it.
Yeah.
We're going to start using that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Bridechilla.
Thank you, Bridechilla. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But DIYing is, I guess it's along the same lines as finding someone on Craigslist that you
that's accurate. Very accurate.
If you're doing something just for budget's sake, consider.
Yep.
I wish we hadn't done this stupid cake face smash thing to each other. In the moment, it was fun and everyone laughed, but whatever. They wish they hadn't.
Oh, okay,
gotcha. The way it's worded is weird. Well, yeah. I mean, that goes back to the same thing, like doing traditions for tradition's sake. But I think specifically with the cake cutting and the cake smash, I just think everything is cute if you can get behind it. Yes. I've seen the cake cutting and cake smash be so fucking cute before. Like, it's a moment. Like, they maybe were waiting Everyone's for it. Fun. Oh, yeah. Like, we're laughing. Yeah. It's so, and that is when it's cute. But if you're just doing it because you think that you should have a cake cutting or whatever. No. Same thing, like garter toss can be so fucking weird if you're not into it. But if you're like, no hands, teeth only, crawling on the ground, like, it's great. It's fucking great. Do it. So it's whatever you guys can like get behind, then your crowd will get behind it.
Yes, 100%. I would say the last 3 weddings I shot, there has been no garter and no bouquet toss. No. And I'm loving it because it just means more actual dancing. That's all people really want to do anyway.
Do you feel like as a videographer, though, you like having some of that stuff because...
I don't, because I don't like putting it in the film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've worked with some photographers or videographers that are like, oh, there's no... Like, they don't feel like they can fill in the film or whatever with...
Don't you have like 100 other guests that you can take photos of dancing and being stupid?
Yeah.
Like...
I know.
Of course, there's always going to be something that you can go capture.
Yeah.
Something. And it's not your gallery, said photographers. It's their gallery. So whatever they want to make it, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed.
Don't complain that there's not going to be enough. Or even first look. As much as I love having a first look, if they don't want to have a first look, they're not having one. Period. I'm not complaining.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Only do it if it makes sense to you and you like it. The cake smash in particular, though, too, like, bitches be spending like $400 on their makeup, you know?
Yeah, for real. Woof. I don't. That'd be like messing up my new shoes that I bought for the wedding day. It's like, no, I'm trying to make this last.
Yeah, we're still early in the evening. I got to look cute for another few hours.
Exactly. I don't want to be gone for 30 minutes trying to fix the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Again, unless I'm really excited about it. And I'm saying, fuck it. I'm okay doing makeup again for 20 minutes or just wiping everything off and just going to have fun. And sure.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like this is a good one to end on because it's kind of funny and very on brand. I wish I didn't have a wedding. Don't get me wrong. See you next Tuesday.
Peace.
Don't get me wrong. I don't regret getting married. I just regret the wedding because it wasn't what we wanted. We spent all the money to throw a wedding for everyone else, and I wish we had just eloped like we wanted to.
Oh, so they knew that they wanted to elope. I think that's the issue.
They wanted to elope, but probably gave in to family and societal pressure. Yep. She said, I let the guilt of not inviting my family overrule what I actually wanted, which was just to spend the whole day with my best friend and splurge on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say just do that.
Do that. More power to you.
Yeah. Just say, fuck it. We're eloping.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. Mm-hmm. If you do want to find like a middle ground of you still want to share stuff with other people, like maybe hire a photographer, videographer to like go elope with. Jeez.
I just spilled high noon all over my face. Sorry, we're right in the middle of a good thought.
I would say hire a photographer, videographer to like elope with you, even if it's just for like a couple hours. Go do something. Maybe it's like an engagement shoot, honestly.
Yeah.
Just go do that. And then go elope and go do your thing. That way you still have some photos and some video moments to be able to share to other people of like, hey, we did it.
Yeah.
Here's our what's it called? the list that people can go to buy you all the gifts.
Registry.
Here we go. Here's our registry. Here's our photos. Here's our video. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Call it a day.
Yeah, and I think compromise is key, like being realistic. Like, I'd love to just be like, oh, fuck it, only do what you want to do. Like, there is probably a lot of other reasons why you feel like you need to have this, you know? A family member is sick. It means, like, you know, the parents,
you
like,
got great grandparents.
There are so many reasons why you might find a compromise in there. And I think that that's the case. Yeah. But we have had clients that book weddings, they're booked at a, you know, fancy, expensive venue or whatever. And then they just have like a full on thought, like halfway through planning. Like, we've had weddings canceled because they were just like, this is just not us. We're so overwhelmed. So know thyself.
Yep.
Have those talks early because those people that canceled halfway through planning did not get back their deposits.
Nope.
And
I mean, at least you still saved the other half. Though,
no, totally. Better to cancel than to not, but also like, try to have those types of like real talks with your partner and their family early and feel what feels genuine to you about all of the wedding stuff.
All of it.
All of it.
Cake cutting, the first look.
Smash.
Flowers.
So you don't have any regrets.
No regrets.
Our goal here at Weddings Uncensored is to make sure you have a regrets-free wedding.
Zero regrets. Wait, what's that? You want 2 regrets?
That was my signal of
you're saying bye?
Bye.
Okay.
See you next Tuesday.
Peace.